Okay, how about a round of applause for all the alumni?
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This is our second year of doing this Hall of Fame, and last year we had pretty success and it was a lot of fun. In the front trophy cabinet, when you come in down the main door, that's where the plaques are going to be from now on. In there, we got last year's in there, and we're going to put these 5 in after this is all over. And I'd just like to thank everybody again for coming. Thank all the inductees for showing up. Some of you traveled a ways, and I really appreciate you guys coming, and I appreciate the support we have here in River Valley. It's a good family here. So let's get this started, okay?
Okay, for this year's first inductee to the Hall of Fame will be Doc Clark. Doc was our team doctor back in the early years of wrestling, and on behalf of Doc Clark, his family's here to receive his award, so if you would come forward.
Yeah, that's him, all right.
Thank you very much, River Valley High School and the community. From the Clark family, we'd like to thank coaches Fiedler and Mahoney. I'd like to congratulate the inductee class. This year is a bunch of heroes of the wrestling. The start of the wrestling group under Rick Lovinger. Inductees, Gene Yawkey, Paul Nguyen, Terry Lummix, and then one of the guys who got to look up after those guys, Ralph Legal. I want to say thank you for remembering Doc. Mom asked me to tell a small story, a short story. I'd have Mom tell you the story, but we'd be here all night. Mom and Dad immigrated into the area from Canada, and they just happened to find
Legal.
Dad came in legally, Mom, we don't know yet. She keeps changing her name, so we're wondering whether or not that's an indication of something else. They came into the area and they immediately fell in love with the River Valley area, Plains, Spring Green, and the community that welcomed them. And if Dad were here today, and I think he's looking down on us, Dad would admit. Yeah, he's short, he doesn't look down on anyone. If Dad were here today, he would say that one of the warmest experiences in his entire life was his interaction with the River Valley wrestling world, and then the entire state, following them around the state and acting as the physician. So on behalf of the entire Clark family, I'd like to say thank you very much for remembering Dad, Doc, and if you haven't heard stories about him, just ask somebody. Thank you very much.
Okay, for our second inductee, unfortunately he couldn't be here tonight. He is in Russia, so he couldn't make it tonight. But Terry Lummix will be our second inductee. On his behalf, former coach, River Valley coach, last year's inductee, and Terry's coach, Rick Lovinger, is going to speak on his behalf. Rick?
I'd just like to thank you on behalf of Terry and his family. That's 2 of the Lummix boys that are in the Hall of Fame now. Both Terry and his brother Dennis. Terry was very special to me. It was my first year coaching, and I had no idea how things would go or how I'd be received. He was special because he was one of the very first athletes that really bought into what I was trying to do. I wanted them to get good as fast as they could, and I felt the key to it was being able to wrestle well on your feet. If you can go take down release, that's all there is. There's nothing else left in wrestling. They can't pin you, because they can't ride you. And they can't reverse you because you let them go. So you only have to learn how to take them down and let them go. And Terry Lummix was very good at that. He exemplified it. He really paid attention to all the details and the setups and things we do on our feet. And he was undefeated going into the state tournament his senior year, as was Yawkey. But he kind of validated what our approach was going to be. The young kids seen it, and they started believing. And that's junior high kids. They pay attention. And all of a sudden they understood how important it was to be good on your feet. And we really owe a lot of that to Terry Lummix. He was a very hard worker. He was with Gene Mall. And I always felt bad that we didn't have another year for those two guys. They'd have been state champions. I don't have any doubt about it. So, thank you.
Okay, the next one being inducted is Yawkey. Please come forward. On Gene's behalf, to present him will be Casey Feiner.
I would like to be presenting my grandpa, Gene Yawkey, class of 1975.
Gene was River Valley's first state place winner. He was fourth at 112 in 1975 in the no class system. He was 27-0 entering the 1975 state tourney, where he lost in overtime in the state semis on a referee's decision. He was a conference champ at 112 in 1975. He was a two-time regional champion, a sectional champion in 1975, captain and MVP of the wrestling team in 1975. He led the team in pins with 12 and team points with 130.5. That season, his record was 29-2, which puts him in the top 20 for all-time best winning percentage in a single season. Gene Yawkey.
Thanks, Casey Cooper. It's just great to see you, Rick. I was one of the guys that didn't buy into Rick right away. I was the long-haired guy with the girlfriend. Terry was the crew cut, clean cut. But Rick and I, we worked things out, and it was an incredible ride. I was like him. I wish I'd had 3 more years. Would have been awesome. And I thought to myself, give me 3 more years under him, and we'll have 3-time state champ. I do remember something though that all you River Valley fans could be really proud of. Terry and I are at the state tournament. We look up on the board, and I don't know if you remember in 1975, they had all the teams listed. Well, there was River Valley ranked 10th in the ratings, or in the scoring system. And I thought, this program is going to come, and it did. Everywhere you go in this state, you say River Valley, people recognize the wrestling program equal to Lodi, Wisconsin Rapids, Stoughton, Mineral Point. It's renowned all over the state of Wisconsin, and I think that's a tribute to this community who supports their wrestling program so well. So on behalf of all my fellow inductees and the alumni, Brother Harlan down in the end, thanks for coming.
At this time, we'd like to have Paul Moyen and his daughter Michelle Hall.
All right, I'd like to induct Paul Moyen, class of 1976. In 1975, he had a record of 21-4, the Wisconsin Heights Invitational first place at 155 weight class. He was also the conference champion. In 1976, Paul led River Valley through his most successful wrestling season in school's history. He scored 143 points, won 3 tournaments, and placed 5th in the 155 weight class for the WIAA State Wrestling Tournament to culminate a brilliant high school career. His record was 29-5, and his career record was 56-15. At UW Richland Center campus, he was the Roadrunner Invitational Champion at 177 pounds. He was the Wisconsin Junior Collegiate Association State Tournament Champion at 177 pounds. In 1978, he was Lawrence University Wrestling Tournament Champion and received Outstanding Wrestler Award. He was also Wisconsin Junior Collegiate Association State Tournament Champion at 177 pounds. And then on March 4th, 1978, he made wrestling history by becoming Wisconsin's first National Junior Collegiate Athletic Association champion. During the season, he compiled a 35-1 record, won 2 invitational championships, a Wisconsin Junior Collegiate State Championship, was named first team All-American by the NJCAA, and was invited to participate in the Pan-American Junior Games. While attending the UW Richland Center campus, he put together a career record of 53 wins and 10 losses. Then moved on to South Dakota State University in 1978. The University of Nebraska Omaha Invitational placed 3rd at 177 pounds. And then in 1980, the National Collegiate Champion, 190 pounds, along with the North Central Intercollegiate Athletic Conference Champion at 190 pounds.
Thank you very much. Most of all this comes from all the coaching I had through the years and a lot of support from everybody, I guess. I'm not going to say a lot, but I do want to thank one person, Rick. It really was, like we said about Terry, I guess that's why I became better, was because of Terry Lummix. Because you had to focus on Terry so much that I had to defend myself so many times. So while he was really good at takedown, he was really good at stopping them. But with that, I think the program, River Valley, leads you to bigger and better things that people realize what the sport does for you. It's more than just wrestling. It teaches you, you're out there by yourself, and sometimes you have setbacks, and sometimes you have to move forward. And there's not someone out there to help you. You have to do it yourself. That's one of the things, Rick, I do appreciate that you did teach, especially sometimes when you're running in the gym, Gene and I. We'll have to talk about what we said a lot sometimes. But for the most part, thank you very much. Thank you all, and good luck with everything.
Okay, our final inductee tonight, former classmate and teammate of mine, and proud to introduce Ralph Legal. And introduce him.
So, Ralph Legal is an athlete of the class of 1982. He was a two-time state champion in 1981 and 1982 at 155 and 167 pounds. He placed third in the 1980 state tournament at 145 pounds. He was a four-time conference champion from 1979 to 1982 with a career record of 112 wins and 6 losses. He had back-to-back undefeated seasons his junior and senior year, with a record of 32-0 and 30-0. He was a member and leader of the 1982 state championship team and was a member and leader of the 1981 state runner-up team. He's a USWF Junior National Freestyle Champion and was a wrestler at the University of Wisconsin from 1982 to 1987. There he was a two-time NCAA qualifier. He's coached in every aspect of the River Valley program, from youth to head coach for 2 seasons in 2013 and 2014. He was also a two-time regional team champion coaching, as well as first-team all-conference junior and senior years in football. 3-time conference champion in football, and football team playoffs in the fall of 1981. For baseball, he was first-team all-conference junior and senior year, and baseball team conference champion.
I just want to say thank you, but those of you who know me, I can't speak. So I did write something down here, and Scott's going to kind of read it off, so otherwise it'll go on too long here.
It's not every day you get to be your dad. Alright. I want to thank the Wrestlebackers for this honor and congratulate the other honorees. When I started wrestling in the 4th grade, little did I know what the sport of wrestling would do for me. I and my family have truly been blessed by the sport. I can remember sitting at home listening to the state tournament on WRCO, wondering what that would be like. It's because of guys like these guys up here, John, Paul, Gene, and Terry, that were part of my inspiration, and I thank them for that. Through the years, I've had great coaches. Bollinger, Lofrey, Ellickson, Ryan, Schultz, and others. By the way, I just want to say that Rick Longer was the best coach I ever had. I want to thank all the coaches I've had over the years. I also want to thank all my teammates. Without you, there was no me. There is nothing like being a part of a group of brothers like that, and I will always remember and treasure your friendships. I want to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to achieve my dreams and to also fail. My parents never knew a lot about wrestling, but they thoroughly enjoyed being a part of the wrestling clubs, traveling, and spending time with other parents. One thing I would like to mention, last year after the state tournament, the tournament my dad was not able to attend due to his health, there was the customary police fire trucks parade through town upon the arrival back in Springer. The parade just happened to detour through town, right in front of my parents' house. It stopped and Shane was able to get out and go up to the porch and give his grandpa a big hug. My sister later said that my dad told her that was the best day of his life. Thanks everyone who made that happen. Next, I would like to thank my family. Thanks to Steven, Scott, Seth, and Shane for allowing me to experience the thrills that you've given me. Thanks to my wife, Mary Beth, who is truly the glue that keeps the family together. Thanks for putting up with 5 boys and their dreams. Thanks to the River Valley Wrestling family. Whether it was a student, coach, or parent, I appreciate being a part of this family. And finally, I'd like to thank the whole state of the wrestling family. Whether you may be from Lodi, Mineral Point, Stoughton, or anywhere else in the state, you've been so kind to our family. If you are truly a fan of the sport of wrestling, you are and will always be a part of one big family. That is why wrestling is the greatest sport on earth. Thanks again.
Again, I'd like to thank the alumni and inductees for tonight. Congratulations for everything, and we give them a round of applause, please.